All right, so they are stuck in each other's bodies, and they don't really know of a way to fix it. Hey, stop squeaking that.
Yeah, they got a Freaky Friday thing going on here.
Yeah. So Pike is informed by Robert April that the Rongovians are canceling further negotiations, saying that a connection wasn't made. Pike is confused and asks who did they want to talk to, if not him. The body swap Spock and T'Pring have tried various meditations and chants and other things to reverse the change in bodies, but nothing happens. The door chimes. As these were Spock's quarters, it would have to appear that Spock is answering it. T'Pring and Spock thinks that they will just go away eventually, but the best way for them to go away is for Spock to appear to answer it. T'Pring and Spock thinks this sounds an awful lot like Hijinx and dislikes the idea, which Spock and T'Pring concurs with. But in this case, Hijinx would be the most logical course of action. T'Pring as Spock answers the door. It's the captain. They eventually, after some initial subterfuge, decide to let the captain in on what's going on. And then Pike tells them what's going on with the Rongovians, and T'Pring decides that she'll try to help out as Spock. Which, if you don't see that going bad already... You know? I
felt like they could have made that scene a little worse, like they did for T'Pring's job.
Yeah, well, because like Pike pulls the plug on that one pretty quickly because she was going south with it. She was falling apart, But we'll get there in a few minutes. Una and Anne arrive to interview the two ensigns they caught in the airlock. And both admit to playing Enterprise bingo. Okay, so first off, I didn't write it down in here, but the good cop, bad cop stuff, I actually thought was hilarious here. The fact that they both wanted to be bad cop and, couldn't. And you had Una having to go in and do oh yeah, I totally see this your way. That whole thing. I thought that was great.
Yeah, but La'an just acted like you would expect her to act, though.
Yeah, well, that's just it. It's bad cop is their actual personalities. Una was the only one who had to act. They both admit to playing Enterprise bingo, which is the second time we've heard of this. The next thing that I thought was funny here, so they kick them off a shore leave, and they assign them to Chief Kyle, the very mean and scary Chief Kyle, apparently.
Yeah, when they said that, I was like, what? Chief Kyle's mean, huh?
Yeah, that cracked me up, because it wasn't just oh, he's a little mean. No, they were terrified to have to be assigned to him.
That's crazy. They must have just heard rumors about him and not actually know him.
Yeah. Well, then the next thing that comes along was one of them says something about them having to scrub the transporter pads with toothbrushes or something.
Yeah, she says micro scrubbing the transporter pads, which that's about what I figured. It would be like a toothbrush scrub of it.
Yeah, that's what popped into my head, because the guy playing Chief Kyle looks like a little kid. He does not look like a mean guy, I do find it funny that at some point we have to transition from that actor to an old Englishman. I don't know how we're going to do that, but that's what there is. All right, so you want to go down the list of, one of their lists. Apparently it's got different people get different things on their bingo card, but the one list they recover has...
Use the transporter to reflavor gum, the phaser stun duel, turbo lift 2-floor, shout challenge, set the universal translator to Andorian, the gravity boot hang challenge, the medical tricorder challenge, Vulcan marsupial, food replicator challenge, durian fruit, sneak a tribble into the transporter buffer.
Now, where are they going to get a tribble from in this case?
Yeah, wasn't aware they had run across them yet.
Yeah, as far as I know, they didn't until they get them from Cyrano Jones. They have never seen any.
Yep. Sit in the captain's chair, unsanctioned spacewalk, and sign the scorch. Although it looks like you can get 2 of those knocked out all in one. The unsanctioned spacewalk and sign the scorch. Yeah,
I was going to say, those two, I was surprised that there were 2 that covered that because it sounded to me like you could, those are the same time kind of deals, So what do we see? We see them use the transporter reflavor gum, and it works. I was a little irritated by the phaser stun duel. As somebody who grew up around guns, and I see the way people handle guns now, I saw footage from like some stupid convention where there was some like YouTube guy who had a toy gun and he was waving it around at the audience. And all I could think was, if I was there, I'd knock it out of his hand and shove it in his mouth. You don't fling guns around like that. I don't, especially, oh, it's a toy or it's unloaded. Oh, it's on its lowest setting. Well, I had a cousin who blew his hand off with an unloaded shotgun once. As somebody who grew up around guns, I know that all you have to do is handle them enough and there's going to be an accident.
Yeah. I don't know. I see your point about the mishandling of weapons. I have guns in my house, and that's why I don't buy my kids toy guns at all. I don't want it to even be in their head that this gun-shaped thing is a toy. So they don't even have toy guns, never have. But this kind of reminds me more of, instead of it being like a weapons issue. So there's a piece of test equipment that is used when you're an electrician to check the resistance on the insulation of a wire. And you do that by running voltage through the wire. Well, some people will not tell you that they got this piece of test equipment hooked up and then hit you with some voltage. It kind of reminded me of that.
Yeah. My background was plumbing, and electricity scares me to death. I was doing an electric water heater one time that had been turned off at the breaker, except somebody had changed the breaker and not relabeled.
Oof.
And so I cut into the line and ground it out simultaneously, and I got blown back about 8 feet and got second-degree burns on my hands. And so electricity just scares me to death,
Yeah, I could see that. But that's what this little challenge felt like. It felt like zapping somebody with some electricity.